I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world.
Hello and welcome back to our channel once again. So today's video is going to take a different turn. We had few requests from friends around the world who are interested in starting their travel journey but don't know how to start. So this video is going to take you through briefly on what you need to start traveling around the world just like us. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. I know several people out there have the passion to travel the world. You probably see pictures on Facebook, you probably see videos on YouTube of people traveling around the world, and it's your wish to embark on this journey. It's your wish to go outside of your country, see somewhere beautiful, and you may be wondering, how do I even start this? How do I even start this whole journey of traveling the world or seeing other countries? Now, I would say my first tip, I'm gonna give you a series of tips that would help you, in my opinion, to start your journey. And the first one I would say is to plan. Plan. Now, what do I mean by planning? In order to be able to successfully execute a goal, you need a plan. The same applies to the passion to travel as well. So if you have in mind or have as a dream to travel, then you need to plan. And talking about planning, there are several categories of planning. I would say, in my opinion, you first have to come up with where do you want to go, where do you wish to go, what's your budget, how much do you wish to spend wherever you want to go, what's the purpose of your trip, why do you want to travel, do you just want to travel as a tourist, do you just want to travel as for business, do you want to travel for conference? So always have a plan what you want to achieve from whatever you set for yourself, as you may all know. So once you have a plan, once you know where you want to go, then the first thing that you need to have is a travel document. Doesn't matter where you plan to travel, unless if you plan to travel within your country, then you can travel without requiring any ID. But once you want to cross your border to another country, then you need a travel document. Now, travel documents comes in different types depending on your purpose of travel. If you are traveling within your region, where the country where you are traveling to is a visa-free one that requires you just to travel with an ID, then obviously you need a national ID. So depending on which region you are coming from, if it's in the Europe region, then you know you need an European ID, and just with your ID you could probably travel to some of the neighboring countries around with your ID without even requiring a passport. If you are in Africa, depending on the part of Africa where you are, if you are in the Western Africa, for instance, then you know with your national ID you can travel to neighboring countries without requiring a passport. So the first thing, first and foremost, is to get to know per your plan. If you want to go travel within your region, then you first need a national ID or a passport. The passport is also a form of identification that is acceptable for traveling, and that's the first thing you may want to know. So ID if you are traveling within your region, and the passport if you are going outside your region in most cases. But I would always advise to have a passport, since that's more or less the acceptable means of traveling worldwide, and obviously that's going to make your life much more easier. So first, find out, get your ID, get your passport. Once you have your passport, the next thing to consider is first to ask yourself, per your plan, which country do you wish to travel to, and start to do your research. Do I require a visa to go to this country, right? So there are several countries out there that your passport may allow you to go without visa. There are some countries out there that you will require a visa to go to. So you may want to do your research. In most cases, if you are traveling outside of your continent, in most of the cases, depending on your passport again, you would need a visa. So research. You don't want to get into the situation whereby you arrive at the port of entry of another country, and then you would be deported because you don't have the appropriate visa for your travel. So research, make sure you find out if you need a visa for the country where you are intending to travel to. I know the hassle of getting a visa may be quite overwhelming, and for a starter, I could advise to start off from countries that doesn't require visa. So in order to escape the whole visa processing and having to gather documents and going back and forth to embassies and things like this, you can start off with countries that doesn't require visa depending on your nationality. So I believe every country have certain countries that they can travel to without visas. So as I said, go back, make your research, know these countries that you could travel to without a visa, and depending on your travel plan, again, you can make a choice, and you can take it from there. For Ghanaian passport holders within the West African region, you can travel to all of these countries without a visa. So you can go to Nigeria, Togo, Ivory Coast, Benin, and all of those other places without requiring a visa. Also within the African region, you can go to Kenya, Tanzania, Mauritius, just to mention a few. There are several other. I would put down below a link to find this information, which countries you can go to. For some of the countries out there as well, you would need a visa on arrival, so you don't necessarily need to apply for a visa before traveling. But once you arrive in the country of destination, you can acquire a visa. For countries outside of the African region, for a Ghanaian passport holder, that's visa free. You can go to Singapore, you can go to Jamaica, you can go to the Philippines and Barbados, several other countries out there that you can travel to without a visa. Now, in the case where you need a visa as well, you may want to research what are the procedures. First of all, you may want to find out if the country where you intend to go to has an embassy in Ghana, because obviously there are cases where the country where you intend to does not have an embassy in the country where you're applying for. So if you are applying from Ghana, then you may want to check if the country you intend to go to has an embassy in Ghana. In some cases, if there are no embassies there, then you need to travel to a neighboring country where you can find the embassy of the country you want to go to and apply for your visa. I'll probably do a separate video about visa, because that's a more in-depth topic. We can spend a whole video session talking about this, but all the time you should have in mind your purpose of travel, right? So if it is for tourism purposes, then you know the type of visa you are applying for, because you need to enter the country with the appropriate visa. So let's say you've gone through all of these hassle, you had your visa, or you are traveling to a country, you decided to travel to a country where you don't need a visa. The next thing that you may want to look out for is if you need any special vaccination for the country where you are going to. In certain cases, you need a special type of vaccination for the country where you decide to go to. So make sure that you are getting all of those vaccinations, also for your own health sake. So you may want to research about those as well. So now you have a passport. Now you know where to go to, probably a visa-free country for starters. You've got necessary vaccination that's needed for that destination. And per your plan, if you are traveling as a tourist, then obviously in your plan, you may want to list the things that you want to do, how long you intend to stay in the country, where you want to stay, the budget, how much you wish to spend, and all of these necessary informations you may want to research before going. So once you have your visa, or if you decide to go to a non-visa country and you have your vaccination and you already know what you're going to do or what you're going to see in the country where you intend to go, obviously you should be thinking of accommodation. So do you have friends there who could host you? That would definitely be the cheapest way, having someone to host you for free. You can as well resort to couch surfing, which you can find people who can host you for free on couch surfing. Otherwise, you can look into other accommodation options like Airbnb, or go on booking.com to find some cheap hostels as well. That could also be an option for accommodation. So yeah, depending on how long you want to stay again, you have to plan accordingly and know where you are going to be staying. You don't want to find yourself sleeping on the streets in another country. So have all of these in mind and make sure that you are having all of these prepared ahead of your travels. Once you have all of these sorted, Next thing is to book your means of travel to wherever you choose to go to. If it is within your region, then you may look at going by road if that option is available, maybe by bus or by train. Also, you can look at car sharing. Here within Europe, it's quite common that you can have a car sharing to other countries. So you could look at that as well if that option is available within your region. As I mentioned earlier on, if you have buses as a medium of intercountry travel, you may want to look into those as well, and also for trains. Now, if you happen to be in a region where you don't have these means of traveling within your region, then you may want to look into flying. Okay, so traveling by air. So I would recommend using Skyscanner or Kayak. These are the third-party applications that I use a lot when looking out for cheap flight tickets. So you can go on to Kayak, you can go on to Skyscanner, and just put in the information where you're traveling from, and then your destination country, the period which you are intending to travel, and they are going to give you a list of flights that travel that routes and the prices. So depending on your preference, you can decide to choose which airline to travel with. And of course, if you want to go on a lower budget and there is the means to travel by road or by train, then you can look into those as well. So go online, buy those tickets. If it's a flight ticket, or if it's a train ticket, or if it's a bus ticket, go ahead and book those, and make sure that you validate that everything is scheduled as required. When the day comes for you to travel, make sure that you have everything prepared. You have your passport, you have your tickets. Go to the airport or the bus station or the train station ahead of time. Usually I advise to be there an hour before traveling, just so you wouldn't be under so much pressure if there are like a lot of people to check in, for instance. So it's always advised, if it's an international travel, then you may want to allow maybe 2 or 3 hours. If I say international travel, I mean traveling outside your continent, then you may want to be at the airport 2 to 3 hours ahead of time of your flight. Okay, just so that you are not under pressure, you'll be at ease and go through the whole process, and at least have some time to rest before your boarding. And I know for some of you guys out there who probably it may be the first time of traveling by air, you may be quite unsure. So just make sure that you are at ease prior to your boarding as well. And of course, there are several other processes that you need to go through before getting on the plane. So like immigration checks and all these other checks that you need to go through. So make sure that you are at the airport ahead of time, just so you don't end up missing your flight. I hope that this video would be useful to some of you out there who are looking to take that bold step to travel outside of your comfort zone, to travel outside of your country. I think it's always achievable. Everything is possible. If you've probably had any experience in the past how it was for you the first time of traveling outside your country, feel free to comment in the comment section. And also, I would like to say that subscribe to our channel to get more and more tips about travel and travel lifestyle. Thanks for watching.